Hello again, and welcome back to the Slow Flowers Podcast with Deborah Prinzing, episode 552, part 1. This is the weekly podcast about slow flowers and the people who grow and design with them. It's all about making a conscious choice, and I invite you to join the conversation and the creative community as we discuss the vital topics of saving our domestic flower farms and supporting a floral industry that relies on a safe, seasonal, and local supply of flowers and foliage. This show is brought to you by slowflowers.com, the free online directory to more than 880 florists, shops, and studios who design with local, seasonal, and sustainable flowers, and to the farms that grow those blooms. It's the conscious choice for buying and sending flowers. And thank you to our lead sponsor for 2022, Farm Girl Flowers. Farm Girl Flowers delivers iconic burlap wrap bouquets and lush, abundant arrangements to customers across the U.S., supporting U.S. flower farms by purchasing more than $10 million of U.S.-grown fresh and seasonal flowers and foliage annually. Discover more at farmgirlflowers.com. Our first sponsor thanks goes to the Association of Specialty Cut Flower Growers. Formed in 1988, ASCFG was created to educate, unite, and support commercial cut flower growers. Its mission is to help growers produce high-quality floral material and to foster and promote the local availability of that product. Learn more at ascfg.org. Today, I have 2 interviews to share, and I've divided them into part 1 and part 2. First up, part 1. A delightful mother and daughter design duo shares their story. You'll meet Teresa Rao and Priya Rao. Teresa is owner of Belle Pétale, a Seattle-based design studio. She's an avid gardener and flower lover who in 2020 transitioned from a 16-year corporate training career to floristry. Teresa has based her boutique design studio, Belle Pétale, at her home, where she can clip foliage and blooms from her garden while also parenting Priya, her 8-year-old daughter. The studio name Belle Pétale comes from a childhood love of petals. Teresa and her sister were frequent flower girls for relatives' weddings, and they got to throw a lot of petals. And her passion for all things French. Teresa's home interiors reflect her floral styling, and a recent kitchen remodel was designed with her floral studio in mind. As it turns out, Teresa and Priya recently invited me to their home for tea, so Priya and I could celebrate our shared birthday, February 28th. I asked them to design their signature floriography posies after tea. We had so much fun, and I can't wait for you to hear this conversation. You can find more photos and links to Teresa's social media places in today's show notes for episode 552, part 1 at slowflowerspodcast.com. Let's jump right in and get started. I'm so excited today to say hello to the mother-daughter team, Teresa Rao and Priya Rao. And of course, Teresa is known for Belle Pétale, and I guess Priya is one of your regular assistants, right?
Yeah. Yes, my little petite fleuriste.
Well, this is really fun. I'm glad you agreed that we could do this together. And Priya, tell us what you're going to design.
I'm going to design a tiny posy.
Okay. Great. Teresa, tell us how you define a posy.
So a posy, in terms of shape, is more of a round or pave style, as you may probably have heard, but definitely round, tight, compact floral arrangement. And what Priya and I are going to do is not only is she going to create the posy, but we're going to incorporate the language of flowers. So each of these flowers means something.
That's awesome. Let's see what you're going to do, Priya. Tell us how you're going to get started.
I'm just going to take some flowers and see what looks best.
Okay. And do you mind if I ask your mom some questions while you start designing?
Yeah.
Great. So, Teresa, you can talk and design at the same time. We all have to get used to that. Yes. Teresa is the owner of Belle Pétale in Seattle, a floral design studio. And we met through, I guess, a mutual florist, I think.
We did. We also met at the workshops at Seattle Wholesale Growers Market as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, I knew there was a growers market connection.
Yes.
And since then, we've done some fun things together. You joined Slow Flowers.
Yes.
We featured your beautiful home kitchen studio in Where We Bloom. That's sort of when we became closer friends.
We have,
and you've done some fun projects together for promoting the book, for doing editorial with Cottage Christmas, and I'm just really glad you're my neighbor, kind of. So
Me too, Deborah. Seriously, it's been fun.
Well, so tell us a little bit about Belle Pétale while you're getting started.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Belle Pétale are the French words for beautiful petal, and I am what they call a Francophile. Ever since I was young, I really was drawn to the French aesthetic, French architecture, the language. I've been studying French since I was little, all the way through school and college. And it's just been something that I've always carried in my heart. And I've never been to France, of all places. And so that's yet to come, hopefully. And
it'll happen.
It will happen. I think so, too. But yeah, so Belle Petale is beautiful petal. And my sister and I, when we were little, we used to always be asked to be flower girls for family, friends. And so I just became very in love with flowers at that point, because flowers are everywhere in a wedding. But as a flower girl, we would get the petals, and I would just remember just studying the petal and smelling it. And that was just my first, I would say, memory of what it is to be that close and personal with a flower. And so for me, the petal is what draws me to the flower always.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. So you started the business, what, about 4 or 5 years ago?
Actually, it'll be 3 years ago, coming up this summer.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
You've done so much in 3 years.
I've been having fun.
Okay, so give us a snapshot of Belle Pétale and what your services are, and how you built the business.
Yes, so Belle Pétale currently works with the community. We do everyday flowers, whether if it's having a client call and say, I want a birthday posy, using the language of flowers, to can I get a sympathy posy, to let's create a floral pop-up event with local businesses here, which is very important to me, to work with also the community and have those opportunities to connect with the community through flowers. So It's been fun. I've also been doing workshops. This is the first year of providing workshops and offering them, and I've been having fun with that as well.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's so great. Well, you are home-based, obviously.
Home-based.
We'll talk about your new studio at the end of this conversation.
Yes.
How did you become interested in kind of the language of flowers? Because I know that that's been a facet of your design business. I see your posts on Instagram. You're always describing the ingredients and what they mean.
Yes. So for me, it's more of an admiration to the Victorian era language of flowers, and I really loved looking at the history behind it. In early times of London, men and women would carry nosegays, as they would call them, or little posies, because the scent in the air was not a very favorable one, because there was no technology to support the sewage system as we are accustomed to today. So flowers were always there to help mask the scent. Yeah. But then they also became very popular with the Queen, and just how flowers always meant something. And that's how the language of flowers really began. I would say from a modern standpoint, from the Victorian era. But many centuries ago, other cultures used the language of flowers for ceremonies. But for me, looking at the history and being inspired by a fellow Slow Flowers member, Teresa Rao, she just I feel like she's my muse in a way too. So that's really where...
That's right. You did. Yeah. You have... worked together, had a private tutorial session with her or something, right?
Yes. And so that's really where it allowed me to I really want to incorporate this in my business and offer something that is unique and custom to a client, and help convey those messages that flowers do, but even more so on a very literal level.
Yeah, and your unique difference is adding in the French language,
yes.
I think, because you actually name the bouquets usually in French, right?
I do. I always like to incorporate the French language because, again, French is very, thank you, sweetie, is very part of my everyday business with Belle Petale. So I always want to, not just from an educational point, but also to support the brand.
Okay, let's take a pause and see what Priya's doing. Hey, are you actually doing a hand-tied spiral there? Have you taught her how to do that, Teresa?
I have. We're learning.
I'm impressed. So how did you make a decision on what you designed, Priya? And just the flowers that you liked, the colors, or?
Mommy just made a list of flowers that mean things that we want, and she let me pick some colors of that type of flower, and now I'm just starting to do them.
Okay, great. Well, maybe you and your mom can tell everybody what the meanings are.
Yes. So let's start with hellebores. We have a purple variation and then a yellow one. The hellebore means beautiful year ahead. And then roses have such a beautiful meaning. They have a lot, actually. It means beauty. It means grace. It means, you need one of these roses. Okay. There you go. Appreciation, and the list goes on and on. And then, of course, astromeria means friendship.
Ooh, that's a pretty color.
Yeah, and I love the color of it, too.
It goes with the hellebores.
It kind of does, yeah. A little bit of the pink against the contrast of some of the purple.
That's fun.
Yeah. And then we have ranunculus over there. I mean, they are the heroes of spring right now. We just really love ranunculus. I mean, who doesn't?
I love the colors.
We do, too. But ranunculus mean pride, and so we're excited to incorporate that in our posy. Then we have snapdragon, which means gracious lady, and then stock, which also means lasting beauty. And then, of course, we have some beautiful spray roses, the coral color. And a lot of the times, the actual color will help to determine the meaning. And in this case, the coral rose means appreciation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it. How nice that they all are seasonal spring flowers.
Yes.
And maybe not the roses, but everything else. And they fit together so pretty. Priya, that is a gorgeous bouquet. Are you going to tie it?
I just need one more flower. I need a dark one.
Oh, you need the dark one. Okay. This one?
No, the other one.
Oh, okay.
I asked Priya if she had aspirations to be a florist, and she said she just likes making flowers for her friends, which is really sweet.
It is. And Priya's been my real big help along with the business. She's been really excited and enthusiastic by helping with cleaning up the flowers or processing them, editing them, as now she's referred to the language of what florists use to support the industry.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. And she's been really great. She's helped me with pop-up events by putting together some of the arrangements that are going to be sold. And she even likes to create her own designs and say, Mom, can you sell this at the pop-up event? And so, sure, we'll take that out as well.
I love it. That's so great. So are you looking at the posy with an overall message? Because all these combined will convey some larger sentiment in the individual flowers. Right?
Absolutely. So all of these flowers combined, which is the goal here, is to convey a special message. And so yes, all of these flowers have a reason and purpose of why they're a part of this posy.
So what inspired you on this one?
So this one, we were inspired because Priya just had a birthday last month and shares it with our Deborah. So we're creating posies for Deborah.
Oh, how fun. Oh, and the birthday girls.
Yes, the birthday girls.
I am really, it was a fun discovery when I found out that Priya's birthday was February 28th, and I told her mine was too, and we've been planning to do something.
It started with the Holy Bible.
Yes, you have the date on your Bible.
Yes.
That's right, I saw that. Pretty impressive. Well, thanks for sharing my birthday with me. I think that we couldn't get together in February, so this is our March do-over.
Yes, it really is. But we're so excited to have you here, Deborah.
We had a fun time with
We
you.
did.
Yeah. Well, while you're designing, I want to ask you a little bit more about your path. Teresa, you obviously are very creative. You have a beautiful home. You love interior design,
Thank you.
architecture. I know a lot of it is French inspired, but you left corporate America to pursue floral design, right?
I did. My previous career was in HR and corporate training, and that's what I've been doing for the last 15 years. And then I've always had that creative passion, and I always was working with flowers and did things like that for friends and family, and always had something to fall back and make sure that I was utilizing my creative outlet. So. Yeah, so that was a fun ride. I really enjoyed the corporate side of the retail side of corporate America, which is where I spent a lot of my career in. And then Priya came into the world, and we got to, we definitely had the chance to just welcome her and just spend time with her at home. And so I got to be a stay-at-home mom for a while. And then, gardening was always something that I enjoy and still do to this day. And so gardening has helped us to kind of learn a little bit about flowers. And more so, I wanted to teach her that gardening is fun and there's a lot of beneficial things with gardening. Yeah. And we just have a good time.
Yeah.
I used to like to dig and put the seeds in.
Yes.
What did you say, Priya?
I digged up the hole and then put the seed in and then buried it back. So it grew and grew and grew.
What are you going to grow, or what have you grown in the past? More vegetables or flowers?
Flowers.
Flowers,
Yeah.
good.
We've never grown a vegetable in our
You know what? That's what farmers markets are for, right?
We do grow some herbs, but yes, vegetables is not one thing we haven't done yet.
But you're growing herbs so you can use them in your posies.
Exactly. We like to grow a lot of mint because it means warmth of feeling.
And it's a great foliage.
A great foliage,
Yeah.
yes. So we like that.
Wow.
Dad.
Ooh, okay.
That looks wonderful.
So yeah, I mean, it's just been really fun. I mean, gardening has just also been a part of my family. It's been a part of me growing up as a child. And so it's always been a part. And I feel like I'm very connected with the garden and I'm able to connect that with my floral business and then even share that passion, if not love, and respect of the garden with my clients.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you think that's part of your aesthetic? Is the garden?
Yes.
The garden inspired kind of aesthetic and sensibility. Like that, people may look at your posies and think, "Oh, did you grow all these yourself?"
Right.
Because they're familiar flowers.
Right.
But you started sourcing locally, and how did that all come about? How did that sort of value emerge?
So that's, with what I'm growing in my garden, I grow a lot of perennials and I grow, again, some bulbs and things like that. And there's a lot of times where my garden doesn't supply enough, if not maybe what I'm looking for. And so I always want to turn to my local flower farmers. And of course, they are just so talented and they do a good job. And I want to support local as well. Mm-hmm. And so when I always share where my flowers are coming from, I always will ensure to inform my clients, oh, this came from a local flower farmer in our area, or we'll give them the name, or they came from my garden, the Belle Petale cutting garden. And so my clients always get the most freshest, if not the most local.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then that kind of educates them to see that as a value add for why they're coming to you rather than, some wire service or something like that.
Right. And a lot of the times, I'll have clients who may ask, I know it's not growing in the season, but when will it be? And so it's fun to talk about, what to look forward to the next season. So yeah, it's been fun.
Well, and obviously then you know that your message is getting through to them, right?
I think so. It's really fun.
Well, I've been pretty impressed with all the things you've been doing with, as you said, local businesses. You have a couple retail shops in Burien, which is very close to us, where you either do a pop-up or a workshop pretty regularly. And,
yes.
And how did that all come about?
Yeah, so when I started my business, I wanted to get my name out there, and I don't have a website, didn't have social media at the time, and so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go introduce myself and provide a complimentary bouquet and just share with them who I am, give them my business card because at least that's what I had, and would they be interested in ever hosting a pop-up event or if they ever need flowers. And so it was my way to connect that way. And so when I first went to Paper Delights, which is this local stationery shop here in Burien, they were just so welcoming, and they're like, of course, let's go ahead and host a first floral pop-up event at Paper Delights. And so we had a great time, and I will always forever be grateful for that opportunity, because it allowed me to not only connect with the community, but also just kind of engage with them, and they ask and they'll call, and so now I've created like a rapport with the community. And so these are some clients that are repeat clients now, and so I'm so grateful for that opportunity.
And Paper Delights is already set up to do other types of workshops, so they have the space.
They do.
And how did they do the pop-up? Was it just in the workshop room, or was it in the front of the store?
So we first started in the back of their room, which is their classroom area or workshop area, and we did a fall pop-up event. And so dahlias were in season, and then mums were in season, sunflowers. So it was just a really great event, and it was a chance to also just kind of talk to the client about where the flowers are coming from, and then answer any gardening questions too.
Right.
So that was fun.
So how did that work out? You brought pre-made posies, or did you make things on site, or?
For that pop-up event, I actually made pre-made posies and bouquets, and so that was fun to provide just an array of different options and colors, with a special toile wrapping paper that I like to use, and a ribbon that goes with all my bouquets.
Wow, it's kind of in alignment with their aesthetic too, because they care about how things are packaged.
Exactly.
And so for them, what was in it for them? I guess just having an event that brought people in, maybe who would also shop for stationery while they're there, right?
Exactly. And so, and it was the height of people coming back to like, oh gosh, we've been, at home because of the pandemic. And so it was really nice to be greeted with flowers and just go out and just have a good time at a beautiful shop like theirs. And it was just nice. It proved to a win-win for all.
That's cool. And you've been continuing to do that. You just taught last weekend.
I did, yes. So because of this wonderful partnership that I have with Paper Delights, it's been wonderful to offer not only pop-up events, but also transition into the workshop. So I've done wreath classes, centerpiece classes, and how to create a posy using the language of flowers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. And then there's a bakery you're also partnering with, right?
There is. There's a local bakery called Treat Cookies, and they're a mother and daughter duo. Fun, and they are such, I call them artisans of cookies. And so every time I host a workshop, I always want to provide a local food or a local restaurant or something that says, this is Burien, or this is the community here supporting another small business. And so Treat Cookies and I always try to get together and collaborate by providing their cookies at my workshops. We've also had the opportunity to collaborate for Mother's Day and Valentine's Day, where we'll provide a bundle where you get cookies and a bouquet.
Wow. How's that gone?
It's been going great. Yeah, it's been a hit for the community, a hit for them. It's been wonderful for me. I just love it.
And also the cross promotion of your customers are finding out about these other kind of creative businesses, and their customers are meeting you. It's probably the most affordable marketing you could do, because it's so relational.
It's relational. I like that. Yes.
I love it. Well, I love your bouquet.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So what are the tricks to making a posy compact like that? Because it's just so harmonious, and I love having the hellebores on the outside.
I do too. It's almost like the hellebores are dancing a little bit, and
kind of the wrap.
Yes. And so here's the thing, because I work with seasonal flowers, I always really want to look for the message with whatever is growing. And because the language of flowers provides an array of definitions for flowers, herbs, and foliage, I think I have a lot to work with. So I'm very lucky in that aspect. But one thing I always look for is the color complement, because sometimes you have flowers that may not complement one another because of the color or the tone. But I think right now for spring, there's a lot that we can choose from. But for me, just making sure that you can create a posy by doing the spiral method, and then just kind of seeing where your flowers are
I love
are
that.
just gonna like land. Sometimes the flowers tell you where they want to go.
Well, also there's sort of this high-low, like you've got the pastel with the rose, but then the very vivid orange in the ranunculus and in the spray roses.
Right.
It's so pretty. I love it. And you don't really have greenery, but the hellebore greenery kind of adds just what you need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I grow a lot of Dusty Miller, and it's so easy to grow in everybody's garden. Just pluck it in the ground or a pot, and they're fine. I like to incorporate Dusty Miller a lot in posies just because they're easy to grow, available, and also they mean felicity. Most of the time I'm creating flower arrangements or posies that are very happy messages. So it's nice to
that's
put
fun.
them. Yeah.
So how will you wrap that? I saw Priya was actually using a rubber band to wrap hers.
So we use either rubber band or we hand tie them the European way. Okay, so so we have some garden twine. Did you need one too, sweetie?
I don't know how to tie it.
Oh, that's right. You got the rubber band. Okay. So this is the part where I hand tie them, and this is where I help Priya too, because she's still learning how to hand tie them. But this is the European way. You just use garden twine, and then wrap it around a couple of times, and then just set it down to kind of double knot it.
It's great because that's like a hemp. Like a hemp, so it can just biodegrade.
Exactly. And again, that's the other one of the main missions of my business is to always provide sustainable ways using the mechanics or the accessories, if you may, as well. But also, of course, working with sustainable floristry where I'm either growing it or another flower farmer is. And so it's nice to have local ingredients.
I like to cut the bottom of them diagonally so it gets more water.
Oh, that is a good tip.
That is a very good tip, Priya. Thank you. So when that's going out to a client, then you said you'll do a tissue wrap with a ribbon or something like that.
Yeah, so with posies in particular, most clients will want them to be presented in a vase, and then that way I can go ahead and attach a sentimental card that has a list of all the florals that have been utilized in the posy. And so that's easy to wrap around the vase. But then there's times where clients are like, I really like, it to be wrapped and just presented in that way. And so sure, I'll wrap the ribbon and then also include the sentimental tag.
I've seen that on you. You tend to post a lot of the designs that you do, and you have a beautiful wrap. And
Thank you.
The card, it's your Belle Petale logo, and then what is it a separate card that you write the meaning of the flowers on? Or?
So it's the same card. In French, it means le petit bouquet de fleurs, and that's what posy is. And so that's what you're going to see on my card. And then on the same card, facing front, you'll have the list of flowers and the meanings.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of early in the season. It's early April. What is coming up for you? I know you just had one workshop. Do you have others scheduled or other pop-ups scheduled?
Yeah, so Mother's Day is coming up, and that's something on the horizon, very near. So I'm getting ready for that. I'll be offering a Language of Flowers posy, and it'll have a message based on motherhood. And so we're going to offer that class at Paper Delights. And then the following week, the day before Mother's Day, we're going to have a flower pop-up event. So anyone who would like to purchase locally grown flowers with a French-inspired design are more than welcome to come. We'll also have that event at Paper Delights as well.
Oh, good. Well, we'll share that information in the show notes. And you also have it probably on your Instagram account, and they have it on their website, or?
Correct. So it's not currently on there yet. By end of next week, we'll have that information.
Oh, that looks so pretty, Priya. I can't choose
Wonderful.
which one I like better. I think they're really fantastic, and they go well together. And Priya used the stalk and snapdragon in a really fun way, having it be taller than the other flowers. And Mom didn't use those, so why did you choose them?
Because they kind of stand out more, and I like to have them in the top.
I think you made a good choice.
I think you did a great job.
Yeah, it looks great.
Well done.
So I just want to ask about the pop-ups. Do people pre-order arrangements, or do you require that, or how do you plan? Like, how do you know what to bring to the event?
Well, it's always a good question because there have been times where I've overbought and then underbought. So sometimes you just don't know. But I think with a little bit of preparation and just kind of to see, have people been to the pop-up events before, I always try to plant that seed of saying, oh, I'm going to offer it, the following month. And so I kind of get an idea if
who's interested
and who's asking questions about it. But yeah, I try to create pre-made bouquets, usually about 15 to 20. And that usually, I pretty much sell out, but I also bring extra flowers just in case.
Because people probably want to see you doing a little bit of design while you're there too.
Right. And so we just recently had a Valentine's Day pop-up event where we did do both, a hybrid, if you may, of pre-made bouquets ready to sell and take and go. Whereas we also had myself and another friend of mine who helped me out that day make arrangements, and that way the client was able to go ahead and pick the flowers that they wanted for their recipient.
And people like to watch it. I've enjoyed watching you both design today, and
thank you.
You have done such a beautiful job. Thank you for sharing your talent with me, Priya, and sharing your mommy with me too.
You're welcome.
So what are you going to call this? The birthday bouquet, or what's the name you're going to give it?
I don't really name my bouquets.
Okay. How about you, Teresa?
We're going to call it, I'll call mine the birthday posy.
Okay.
For Deborah.
I love it. I invite myself over for tea, and then you make me a posy and let me film you.
This is great.
I feel very selfish.
Well, we're honored.
Well, that's great. Before we're going to go see your new studio, can you just talk a little bit about what you plan to do with this new space that, you've been a kitchen designer for 3 years now, and you've got big plans.
Yes, I'm really ecstatic about what's coming next for Belle Pétale. And one of the things is that we have acquired a new space. It's a home right behind us. And this is where it'll allow me to expand the workspace. I'll have a dedicated workshop, as well as an office and a planting and bulb
growing
area, exactly. So I'll have those 3 areas all under one roof. So that'll be great. And so this property also allows for more garden space to grow things, because I really want to continue adding my own floral ingredients in the arrangements.
Oh, that's so exciting. I love it. Well, we'll make sure that people see photos of your work and find your social places when we post this at slowflowerspodcast.com. But in the meantime, thank you for making a video with me. That was a lot of fun.
Well, Deborah, thank you so much. What do we say?
Thank you.
Oh, you look great. You look picture perfect with that bouquet, Priya.
What did she
say?
I was going to say we could say it in French too.
You could. Let me hear you.
Merci. We say
Merci.
Merci.
Merci. Okay. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for joining our conversation today, and thank you to Teresa and Priya for sharing their mutual love of and talent for floriography. If you have a copy of the book Where We Bloom, which we produced last year to showcase creative floral spaces owned by 37 Slow Flowers members, you saw Teresa in the pages. In her chapter, she told me, I want to make sure I'm supporting farmers who are growing domestic flowers. I always share where my bouquets are sourced, and I use hashtags like support your local flower farmer, drawing attention to the mission that my business is part of while educating my clients and the public about why it's important. And now, with her new studio space at a neighboring property, Teresa will soon have a much expanded Belle Petale cutting garden to help her keep things hyper-local with her designs. Our next sponsor thanks goes to the Seattle Wholesale Growers Market, a farmer-owned cooperative committed to providing the very best the Pacific Northwest has to offer in cut flowers, foliage, and plants. The Growers Market's mission is to foster a vibrant marketplace that sustains local flower farms and provides top quality products and services to the local floral industry. Visit them at seattlewholesalegrowersmarket.com. Here's some timely news coming up this Friday, April 8th at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. You can join the Slow Flowers member virtual meetup on Zoom. Enjoy a greenhouse tour with our special guests, Chet and Christy Anderson of the Fresh Herb Company. For more than 2 decades, the Fresh Herb Company has produced Colorado-grown flowers, plants, and herbs for the region's Whole Foods floral departments and many other customers. Based in Longmont, Colorado, the 15-acre farm grows gorgeous sunflowers, elegant lilies and peonies, bodacious hanging baskets, and bowls of fresh herbs that delight market shoppers each weekend. Chet and Christy are featured in the 50 Ma Bouquet, written 10 years ago by me and still in print. We'll visit this gifted flower farming couple for a virtual greenhouse tour narrated by Chet and enjoy a peek at their prolific early season crops, including all the things I mentioned before, like the lilies, the hanging baskets, and the culinary herb planters. Come with your greenhouse growing and marketing questions. You can find the link to pre-register in today's show notes for episode 552, part 1 at slowflowerspodcast.com, or just check the link in our Instagram profile at Slow Flowers Society. Our final thank you goes to Red Twig Farms. Based in Johnstown, Ohio, Red Twig Farms is a family-owned farm specializing in peonies, daffodils, tulips, and branches, a popular peony bouquet by mail program, and the Spread the Hope campaign where customers purchase 10 tulip stems for essential workers and others in their community. Learn more at redtwigfarms.com. Thanks so much for joining us today. The Slow Flowers podcast is a member-supported endeavor, downloaded more than 833,000 times by listeners like you. Thank you for listening, commenting, and sharing. It means so much. As our movement gains more supporters and more passionate participants who believe in the importance of our domestic cut flower industry, the momentum is contagious. I know you feel it too. If you're new to our weekly show or our long-running podcast, check out all of our resources at slowflowerssociety.com and consider making a donation to sustain Slow Flowers' ongoing advocacy, education, and outreach activities. You can find the donate button in the column to the right at slowflowerspodcast.com. I'm Deborah Prinzing, host and producer of The Slow Flowers Show and The Slow Flowers Podcast. The Slow Flowers Podcast is engineered and edited by Andrew Brenlin. The content and opinions expressed here are either mine alone or those of my guests alone, independent of any podcast sponsor or other person, company, or organization. Next week, you're invited to join me in putting more slow flowers on the table, one stem, one vase at a time. Thanks so much.